So today's classes is all about not having resistance to what you're experiencing in. So as the philosophy of the Buddhist practitioners, not the doctrines, I'm talking about or literature, they have a different way of working with suffering. They embrace the suffering instead of resisting it, because you cannot really take one and say the other is bad, because that's where your identity becomes built up so strong. As your eyes cannot see your own eyes, so is your awareness cannot be just seeing it, but you're aware of it. And in that awareness, you understand life as birth and death is also a cycle, and it has to be there. The bad has to be there for you to understand the level of the goodness that you're going to reap. So is the sinner or the poverty has to be there for you to be certain level of understanding about the richness. So the practice is, I understand lots of you, or that someone that you know is going through some health issues, some mental issues, so many things. But what we are trying to do and what we are trying to share is that you are who is aware of it, but you're not it. But the mind and your identification can get caught up in it and make the life a bit more difficult for you to embrace and enjoy it. So as that we use white chalk in a dark background or a blackboard, so to see the writing, it is very important that polarity exists, but without you resisting it, the acceptance, totally acceptance is needed. Who you are really cannot suffer, who you really are. Who you think who you are can suffer. So see the difference. Who you think who you are can suffer. But who you are cannot suffer, because it is this awareness consciously is evolving and understanding and realize. And that is why it is very important, rather than becoming the surface of yourself, try to have an experience of that experience in the beingness within you. And this is very, very important. So saying that, I will take you on that journey so that you exist in that journey and you take a break from the duality and coming into the existence of your truth and living. And this is very important, so that you feel that you have a solid ground within, not just the solid ground that you think. If I have money, if I have the relationship, if I learn more, if I do more, and that can pull you out, and the world is against you, the people are against you, situations are against you. All the situations that are happening for you is only going to allow you to enlighten yourself furthermore. So the personality of it, you're releasing it. And then that will enhance you to become the better version to serve the purpose of right now. So saying that, I will move the camera towards Darren. Now, very gently take a deep breath and allow your shoulders to roll back. Couple of deep breaths. And if you're driving and listening, please be aware of it and just take the essence of the class rather than the asana of the class. Now you can expand the arms in a wider circle. Take a deep breath in, arms raised onto the ground, and shoulders are rolled back and spreading the wings wider. Now take a deep breath in, arms are raising up, breath out, spread the wings and twisting the spine to the right side, stomach pulled in. Now take a deep breath in, back to the center, arms raised onto the crown in the in-breath. And breath out, twisting the spine to the left on the breath out. Now breathing in, arms raised onto the crown. Breath out, spread the wings wider onto the right. Breathing in, arms raised onto the crown. Breath out, twisting the spine to the left. Now you can also change your leg formation with whatever the sequence you're doing. Breathing in, arms raised onto the crown. Breath out, spreading the wings onto the right. Breath in, back to the center. Change the leg formation, arms raised onto the crown. Breath out, twisting the spine to the left. Stomach very gently pulling in. Breath in, back into the center. Shoulders relax generally, releasing the tension back to the center. Now, take a deep breath in and very gently coming back into the center. Now, very gently, stretch the neck to the right side. Very gently releasing the tension, releasing the perception, releasing the mental state, coming into that consciousness. The idea of neck is not we are working on the emotion that is replaced by the idea, understanding of things. And we are just, our breath is a closer to the truth. Back to the center. Breathing in, the idea of that thought, that holding on the tension of the neck, stretching towards the left side. Now allow the breath to be still there, but your understanding has become different. Now you could see the breath rapidly changing that space of the energy. I'm trying to not to use actually words. Back to the center. Now take a deep breath in, shrug the shoulders up, 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 tilt the head back, massage the back of the skull. So this can be breath out, chin to the chest, releasing the tension. Now observe the things that is happening. Breathing in, shrug the shoulders up, tilt the head back, massage the back of the skull, releasing the tension. So death is not against you. Sickness is not against you. Your difficulty in the mind is not against you. It's already existing. The other parts in that same moment. Breath out, chin to the chest, releasing the tension. Now take a deep breath in. Push the belly into the front, shoulders roll back. In the seating position. Breath out, chin to the chest, stomach pulled in into a seated cat. Very gently allow that spine to form and disform. Breathing in, shoulders roll back, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. Breath out, stomach pulled in. Collapse the spine a little bit more. Collapse the spine a little bit more. Now anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. So you could see the transformation. Breathing in, tongue roll back onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third. Back to the center. Now I want you to take a moment and allow the understanding of the birth and death, being and non-being. The reality is free from all notions. Just take a moment. Let the sound be without the story. Let the feeling be without the story. So in this practice, even you want a knowledgeable answer, the practice is the only place that it can touch reality, so that your beliefs and your neural paths about the frustrations can be allowed to change. So you needn't to be afraid of this truth, because it is not promising, because the media is screaming, everyone else is screaming and create more destruction. Now, once you come into that space of the realization, very gently coming into the knees, palms onto the floor, into the front, and very gently you're coming into the space of preparing yourself into a gentle cat. Breathe out, releasing the tension, anus lock, navel. Let the bum be flat and create the base with the direct experience of the cat. Breathing in, drop the belly, soften the hip, shoulders roll back, look up to the ceiling, energy gaze onto the third eye. Now it's not what the eye sees. Remove these beliefs from your eyes, because it's your interpretation. It's not mine. It's not someone else. Energy gaze onto the Chitakasa, the third eye. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Breathing in, tongue roll up, on energy goes onto the third eye. Now, all this time you're growing from your beliefs, growing from your education, growing on your physicality. But is that all you are? Allow this moment to wake up and discover that. Breathe out, inner lock, navel lock, throat. Now into a neutral spine, and give a good rotation to the hips, rotation to your digestion. Even you can push the hips forward and backward. Also, you can push the shoulders and chest into the gravity and plunge into that space of, and opening that place of that where you're holding the armor, holding the darkness, holding all these things. Wider rotation onto the other side. Wider rotation. Now breathing into a space of a neutral spine. Now very gently left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Into the back. Under the armpit. Dropping, dropping, dropping. And right arm reaching into the center of the room where you are at, where you are, releasing the tension and allowing that understanding. The movement is just pure action coming from that understanding. Now the darkness has to be there for even for you to create more peaceful world for you and your children, where your conscious can become more collective. All of us possess that energy of mindfulness. It is not something that you have to achieve. The energy of the Holy Spirit. So the daily practice is increase in this space. Breathing in very gently, coming back. Shoulders relax, chest open. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Keep that stable spine, hip under the left armpit. So whether it's Buddha's consciousness or Christ's consciousness, it is here. So in the space of Christianity, you can feel that space. Whether it's reincarnation, rebirth, or resurrection, dwell in that space mindfully. And you know that each moment is a moment to refresh the moment. Back into the center, shoulders relax. Coming back, completely breathe out into a space of the cat. Now see the importance of your awareness, importance of your participation in this realm. Breathing in, drop the belly, tongue roll up, energy gaze. Breathe out, inner lock, navel lock, throat lock. Neutral spine, very gently stretch the spine into the back. Calf muscles rolled out, palms facing up, shoulder blades are spread. Your bodies are continuation of that space. So instead of calling a body, continuation of that space. Because now you have understanding. Understanding are the compassion. Understanding is Jesus. Understanding is awareness of the Buddha. Buddha is awakened. It's not a person. Now you have encountered the space of that without the separation. The name what you call, a lot of places call mama, mother, all these different names. Amma doesn't mean that different people, it is the same person. Whether you call the Christ or Buddha. So instead of talking about it, seeing the part of the language, just allow yourself to settle into the realization of whether you speak or not. Now very gently, palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Drop the belly, soften the hips very gently. Elbows onto the floor and breathing in into a gentle cobra. So this separation of yourself and the body, just release that into a place of limitless, into the space of, even I say, whole cosmos. It is also still a limitation. So you cannot really say this body and your mind is less than the vast cosmos, more than a flower, more than an animal. So take a break from that idea that is and is not. At that very moment, which is in the space of nirvana. Ultimately, the dimension of reality has nothing to do with concepts. Overlook into the right side. Concept even on your story. Concept on what you call rest. Concept of what you call work. Concept of what you call yoga. Back to the center. Onto the left. The absolute reality cannot be talked about. Nothing can be conceived or talked about. Breathing in back to the center. Now you understand in the space very well. Now, who understand this? Is it your mind and the body? Your mind and the body is going to react to all your memories and thoughts. Because it's a past experience, but the present experience. Very gently allow your third eye to come down to the floor and maybe keep the fist on the third eye. And very gently take a moment free from the body and the mind. And you become aware of the body, you become aware of the mind, you become aware of your name, aware of your place, but you're not. Your mind is very, very limited. If you're a fish, your mind will never understand about the dry land. Because you might think, how could I breathe without water? So things cannot be described by concepts and words. The only encountering in this direct experience that you know who you are. At that very moment when you accept your limitation, but not you, the limitation of the mind and the body, you can make a better place for it. We shouldn't say anything because it's only lead you to think there is a thing. There are things that has to be changed. You can talk about things, but the realization doesn't. It only can be perceived and described. Back to the center, relaxing the tension. Now very gently take a deep breath in. Palms under the chest level, and you're breathing into a clearly coming into a space of up face. Continue the practice to look deeply. You will see more clearly things through the asana, through the pranayama, through the dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Breathe out towards the down face. Now very gently, you're releasing the tension, coming into that space of the down face. You're gently warming up by bending one knee at a time. Now, some of you might just say the body is this, body is that. But some of you might be aware of it today. Now take a deep breath in, lifting up onto the toes, bending both knees and bringing the chest down to the knees, but taking on the back of the body proper down face. Very gently. Now very gently, by pushing the heels down, stomach pulled in, back of the neck relaxed, opening up into that space of the down face. The experience in its own being. Now take a deep breath in. Drop the elbows onto the floor, interlacing the fingers and holding that position. Now very gently coming from that position into a plank, elbows on the floor, interlacing the fingers. That's it. Great. Stomach pulled in. Breathe gently. You are not the limitation of the body. Breathe. Now drop the belly. Soften the hips. Shoulders relax. Now take a deep breath in and clasp the hands in the back. I'll lift up the chest. Breathe. Stronger, opening up the chest. Don't tighten the lower back. Breathe, 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 breathe. Breathe out and relax. Palms onto the chest level. Soften the hips. Now the next one, if you have a towel, you can use that. Wrap around your ankles. Take a deep breath in. Arms stretch into the back of the ankle, releasing the tension. So you are not tightening the lower back. You allow the kidneys to experience the space. And you keep your neck and head softened so the blood flow is happening. Now take a deep breath in. Bring the heels closer to the buttocks. You accept your difficulty. And very gently let go. Now turn the head into a side that, or to the show that it wants to release the tension. Now, what you're doing is you're finding the moment and you're rescuing the moment from your head. You're rescuing the moment from thoughts, emotions, but you're aware of it. So awareness is nothing other than rescuing from you from the sleep, rescuing you from what you thought to be true. Now turn the head onto the other side. Let the awareness rescue you from, oh, the life is a difficulty. You could see the coming and the going. But if you're caught up in the coming and the going, there is no being. So the teachings is just finger pointing to the moon. It's not the moon itself. Now very gently take a deep breath in and lift up the head and turn onto the other shoulder. So you can release this misunderstanding that the one show is better than the other. This can take and release the tension of polarities. Man, woman, black, white, rich, poor, happiness, frustrations. Now come into the unity of two sides of the coin. It is a whole coin. So what is bad? Sinners have to be there for you to become a saint. Non-eternal life is just one side of the coin. Once you choose the eternal life, you choose the death as well, ill health as well, struggle as well. Both are life. But you want only one side. Then you have no coin. Then you don't have a real realization. Back to the center. Now onto the knees and stretch the spine, completely breathe out. Stomach pulling. Now we have gone on theory about the God, kingdom of the God, nirvana. But in reality, the realization cannot talk about it. Everyone these days talk about a lot about the world. And we neglect the true practice of the moment, where it can only rescue you from this theology. Now, very gently coming into a child pose, shoulders relaxed and chest open. Now, if you can, very gently bring in that space of the innocence. Wake up the spine one vertebra at a time. Wake up the spine very deeply, if I say so. Observe the breath deeply. Open the air to share to the body. Open the awareness to share. Mindfulness is a very good space of gratefulness. Mindfulness is awareness of this marvelous nature of the space. Such an act cannot be said on a story or a line. Now very gently stretch the legs into the front. Now give it a good shake to the legs, releasing the tension. We'll easily ease into the practice. Consciousness of the ground of being cannot be conceived. Nirvana is you're aware of it. Awareness of the ground is the ground of being. But it is not a perception of a human form. Now, sole of the feet together, knees wide apart. Shoulders roll back, and gently I want you to open that posture a little bit more, idea of that space of the posture allows you to transcend. And you share that space. So you are a listener to my class, but do not get stuck in the word or the concept. Now, under the ankles, you're going to lock onto the toes. And today's posture, I would like you to walk the bum back, but keep your shoulders rolled back as much as possible and release the tension of the hips, roll from the hips, roll from the hips, and even keeping a block. It's the idea is not dropping the head. Idea is dropping the belly, dropping the lower part of the chest, middle part of the chest, upper part of the chest, extension of the throat, then the chin, and then the head. If it does not happen, keep the extension still carefully so that you are listening. You're not getting stuck in a destination, not even in the journey, just the company of the truth, company of the moment. Do not get stuck in words or concepts or direction. It's your duty to transcend words and concepts, to be able to encounter the living truth, to be in touch with the source of your own wisdom. You're using the posture in an eloquent way to show that Jesus is life, Buddhism is life, Allah is life, Shiva is life. Whatever the nature is life. In this moment, you are touching the living Christ. You're touching the living Buddha. Because there's an overflowing with energy of understanding. And that understanding, the love comes, compassion comes, giving comes. Otherwise, you'll get caught up on whether to give that person or not, whether to attend that person's problem or not. Now you're keenly aware of what's going on. You know that. Now take a deep breath in, very gently coming back. Shoulders relaxed and chest open, knees open. Now bring those knees to the chest. Chin up, releasing the tension. Shoulders roll back so your spine is not hunching. Arms raise onto the crown and lifting up onto the toe. Up into the Navasana. Now even one leg at a time. And very gently stomach pulled in. Bring the knees to the chest. Now take a deep breath in. Stretch back to the Navasana. Arms raise onto the crown very gently. And breathe out when you feel that. Breathing in again. Breathe out again. Breathing in again. Breathe out again. Now very gently lock onto the toes. Even you can lie down and do this. So just feet up, then feet apart, shoulders relaxed, back is aligned, the body is in that space. Breathe so that the body can be of the enjoyment. The health can be the reward of it. Just represent your learning through this posture. It's not so much about achieving the posture. It is becoming a living posture. Your understanding is peaceful. Your happiness and your peace radiate through your body and your breath. And when you do this, you're sending many levels. And you're helping to relieve the suffering of living beings, including the struggle that your identity has. Knees to the chest completely, breathe out, releasing the tension. Now very gently roll back onto the floor and releasing the tension. Now give a good rotation to the knees, hips, shoulders relaxed, chest open. Now take a deep breath in. Once you lie down on the floor, give a good rotation, loosening up your lower back, the lumbar back, thoracic back, and the cervical back. Shoulders relax. Now take a deep breath in. Bring the left knee onto the chest and stretching the right leg away from you. Now holding onto the back of the thigh or back of the knee and stretch the leg up foot flexing towards you. Your head relaxed, neck relaxed. And I want you to breathe in this posture where you are comfortable in. Now take a deep breath in, knee to the chest, that left knee. Drop the left knee onto the right side, using the weight of your right palm. And stretch the left arm onto the shoulder heights, and even the head turning. And very gently releasing any tension and the worry that your body. Let the body to listen directly into that space of your understanding. Let the posture rescue from those space of in the head. Now you're open enough your transformation are also expounding the same, the nature of the birds, nature of the tree, nature of the bamboo, nature of the air. Now very gently bring that knee back to the chest. Forehead onto the knee, completely breathe out. Stretch the leg up while the forehead on the knee, if you can. And knee to the chest, completely breathe out. And when you're ready, release. Take a deep breath in and arm stretching to the back. Right armpits open. Try to get that lock down to the floor, interlacing the fingers. Stretch the legs totally. Now turn the body towards the right and onto the left, if you can. Just from the whole body, if you can. Even your shoulders lift up. Try to get another extension. Then very gently bring the right knee onto the chest. Holding onto the right knee. Holding onto the back of the thigh and stretch the leg up as much as flex the foot towards you. Take a couple of deep breaths. Couple of deep breaths. At this moment, you have to understand if your story is still going on, your mind sees only one side of things. Knee to the chest, completely breathe out. Dropping onto the other side, the opposite direction. Right arm stretch. Now in Buddhism, this word is avidya. Ignorance means literally lack of light. Vidya means understanding is made of light. Very gently coming into that place of get rid of all your concepts. And then you will see suffering is not a reality. It is illusion. Because real you cannot suffer. I'm not saying body is not suffering. Bring back the knee to the chest. Forehead onto the knee, completely breathe out. Keep your stomach muscles relaxed and pull back. And gently let go. Arm stretch, interlacing the fingers into the back. Take this moment to remove all your ideas concerning the reality. The moment of the reality cannot be described. Real reality is so different from your concepts. Now knees to the chest, forehead onto the knee, completely breathe out. Rock the spine into the front and into the back. Bit more. Use the belly pulled in, releasing the tension of breathing too much, and very gently coming into a seating posture. Take a deep breath in, breath out. Twist the spine to the right. Breathing in back to the center. Change the formation of the legs. Twisting the spine onto the other side. Breathing in back to the center. Now take a moment to see how you react to words. Now this is the moment I want you to just witness, being careful to avoid getting stuck in the concept of right, concept of giving, concept of yoga, concept of health. Now take a moment and just release the tension of that you're separate from the world. This is why in a lot of stories is if you see the Buddha, kill the Buddha. The concept in order for you to experience real Buddha directly or the Christ directly is to kill the concepts. If you really want to understand the world, you have to let go of the birth and death, black and white. Because it's everything, but also not everything. So this moment I invite you of your life in awareness. This is the time, if you talk too much about it, taking a break from it. If you're writing too much of it, take a break from it. Just to bring the balance, not to stop writing. Because it's far from the ultimate dimension. This is the time I urge you to experience and not to talk a lot about it. This is the moment. Your is in the space of living and touching. Just allow that space to be touched with the ultimate reality. Now allow that presence to be felt. This you can felt when you see someone who is loving and compassionate and mindful and caring and understanding. We know in that space, Holy Spirit is there. Because your giving is never a problem. You feel no one is separate from you. Now take a deep breath in, arms raised onto the crown, interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Then very gently, palm is coming into the connection of the pranam position. Chanting a single Om to vibrate beyond the concepts and wording and the sound. Just the vibration of your realization. By a single Om, take a deep breath in. Arms gently raised back to the crown, cleansing the space and the aura without any limitation of the body. Sensing the vibration of the presence of your practice. Space of the crown is protect from the illusion. Third eye, protection of the illusion. Throat, protecting from words. Heart, protecting from the idea of love. Solar plexus. Navel, arms gently raised back to the crown. Cleansing the aura. Very gently touching the earth, respecting the space that the vehicle that is in this dimension that we are experiencing the being through this body and the mind. Gently coming out of the sequence, but into the practice. And having that amazing gratitude for this very, very rare moment that is we are encountering the truth without its polarities. Namaste. Namaste. So namaste. I took a very gentle class. Good to see you, Rebecca and Des and Sylvia and Maria and Daza, all of you in the space of the classes. So can I see their faces this up? Okay, so the class was gently going into the space of the truth of the living. So that's why we're trying to take the layers of all these things that we have gone into the concepts of the things, but we don't know the living of it. So this is why it is very, 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 very important for you to have that moment, and once a week coming into that space. At least 1 hour once a week is more than enough than a lifetime going through this idea of what life is. So real you cannot be touched by anything. Real you actually doesn't go through the death and birth. The idea of you, the physicality of you, yes. And the same thing is your idea unnecessary if it is too strong in the polarity of one side of the coin, you have not got a coin. You have not become whole of it. So it's very important. The suffering of the community should be your suffering too. But yet you could only help if you're not drowning with it. So who you have concepts and ideas are also is happening there, but for you to help, you have to get out of it. So it is very important. So I always say, you're not going through the cancer that you're having or someone is having, that there's a body and its limitation that's coming to. And if you really go through the experience and accept the experience, it gives you a much more higher dimension of realization. And that is a gift. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to go through it. Instead of they'll ask the question, why me? Why me? Why me? And that itself is coming from an illusion of self. There's a lot of things happening in my life, and I always go, yes, I talk to a few of you guys about it and releasing the theatrical side of the emotion. But I always say, why not? Maybe it's a lesson. Therefore, not in a negative aspect of it. So my love to you all. Nicolina, who is actually sending the classes for you, told me that you guys, for other people to know about the classes, not that I earn any money out of YouTube, it's a given gift. You need to interact. So if you visit the classes and do it, please write a short story about how you experience in that class and what's coming up for you. Because people at the moment read comments to see whether they are in that space more than what the teacher is teaching. So that would be amazing because she's doing it from Greece on other time differences with a single mom and looking after a child, and also having a dad who is recovering from much more health conditions, and so we can help one another. And this time is very much important that we help each other, but not that the world is against us or anything like that, just so that we can lift up the weight of the illusion, weight of the suffering a little bit. So my love to you all, and your prayers and your love always felt for me. So thank you again. Namaste to you all, my love to you all.